Welcome to lecture on algebra and number theory. In this video, we shall discuss about subgroups. First, we shall see what is a subgroup. Consider a group G, dot. The binary operation here is dot. Let H be a non-empty subset of G. Non-empty subset means it will have at least one element. Then, if H itself satisfies the axioms of a group under the binary operation dot, then H, dot is said to be a subgroup of G, dot. That is, you are considering a subset and this subset alone must form a group under the same operation of G. That is, H must be closed under the binary operation. That is, if A, B belongs to H, then A into B must belong to H. Identity E must be in H. For each element of H, the inverse must exist in H itself. For a group, there are 4 conditions where we have associative property also. But as H is a subset of G, the associative law holds in H also. So we need not verify that. We may see that G is a subset of itself. That is, every set is a subset of itself. So G, dot is a subgroup of G, dot. Also, if H contains only one element E, then E is the identity element which belongs to H, and the inverse of E is E, that also belongs to H. You multiply E any times, then also you'll get E. So E alone lies in H, means then E is also a subgroup of G under this operation dot. So we can say that every group G, dot has trivial subgroups such as the singleton set E and the whole set G itself. Subgroups other than these two subgroups are called non-trivial or proper subgroups. We shall see some examples. Example 1. Consider the group integers modulo 6 under addition modulo 6. So Z6 will have the elements 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. up to 5. Let us take only these 3 elements from Z6. That is, let H is equal to 0, 2, 4. Then its Cayley table is this one. So you may note from this Cayley table that when you are operating these 3 elements on themselves, we get the resultant as these 3 elements only. So the resulting element does not go beyond this set. So all the resulting elements are in H. So H is closed under addition. Similarly, the identity element for addition is a 0. 0 belongs to this set. So 0 identity exists in H. Similarly, you can find the inverse of each element. So inverse of 0 is obviously 0, that belongs to this set. Inverse of 2, corresponding row, you see this where is the identity element, then the corresponding element in the row will be the inverse. So inverse of 2 is 4 and inverse of 4 is 2. So these inverses also belongs to this set. Hence H, plus is a subgroup of G. We may also verify that K is equal to 0, 3 is a subgroup of this G. There is G is equal to Z6, plus. In that set, if you consider only 2 elements, 0 and 3, the inverse of 3 is 3 itself. 3 plus 3 is 6, that is under addition modulo 6, its value is 0. So that belongs to this set. So 3 is the self-inverse and 0 is the identity element. So these two belongs to one set, means then that set forms a group under this operation addition modulo 6. Let us see some other examples. Consider the set G is equal to U9 comma dot, that is the set of all units of the ring Z9 comma plus comma dot. In that set we'll have the elements from 0 to 8, 0, 1, 2, 3 etc. up to 8. And in Z9 you will have 0, 1, 2, 3 etc. up to 8. And the units of that element contains 1, 2, 4, 5, 7 and 8. You may refer the previous video for this set. From this set you collect only these two subsets. K is equal to the elements 1 and 8 and H is equal to the elements 1, 4 and 7. Under multiplication modulo n, 1 is the identity, so that belongs to this set. You may verify that 8 is the self-inverse and 4 and 7 are inverses to each other in this set U9. So you can verify these two are subgroups of G. We have seen the finite subgroups. Now let us speak about the infinite groups. Z plus is a subgroup of Q comma plus. What is Q comma plus? That is the set of all rational numbers under addition. Z is set of all integers under addition. Of course, integers are subset of rational numbers. So Z comma plus is a group, already we know that, and Z is a subset of Q. So Z comma plus is a subgroup of Q comma plus. Similarly, Q comma plus is a subgroup of R comma plus. That is the set of all rational numbers under addition forms a subgroup of a set of all real numbers under addition. Q star comma dot is a subgroup of R star comma dot. This also you can verify. R star represents the set of all non-zero real numbers under multiplication you are considering, and set of all rational numbers is a subset of set of all real numbers. So set of all non-zero rational numbers under multiplication is a subgroup of set of all real numbers, non-zero real numbers under multiplication. You may note that Z star, even though it's a subset of Q star, Z star comma dot won't be a subgroup of Q star comma dot, because in Z star no element is having its multiplicative inverse except 1. 1 alone will have its multiplicative inverse as 1. Other elements, you take 2, 3, 4, any number, any integer, then the inverse of multiplicative inverse of 2 is 1 by 2. 1 by 2 doesn't belong to this Z star. So Z star comma dot is not a subgroup of Q star comma dot, because except 1, the elements of Z star has no inverse in Z star under multiplication. Next we shall see a theorem which says a property of a subgroup. If H is a non-empty subset of a group G, then H is a subgroup of G if and only if for all A comma B belonging to H, AB belongs to H, and for all A belongs to H, A inverse belongs to H. That is the condition. Here we are considering only the two conditions, that is the closure property and the inverse property. So associative property, as already said, need not be verified, and here you need not verify the identity property also. If these two conditions alone exist, then obviously identity exists. Let us see in the proof. Given G is a group, the binary operation is understood to be dot. Let H be a non-empty subset of G. Then first we are going to assume that H is a subgroup of G. Then obviously these two conditions follow. It is then by the definition of subgroup, H itself is a group. A group should satisfy these conditions. Hence, for all A, B belonging to H implies A into B belongs to H. Similarly, for all A belongs to H, the inverse of A inverse belongs to H. The converse part, assume that the given conditions hold in the non-empty subset H, then we have to prove that H is a subgroup of G. As H is contained in G, if you take any three elements A, B and C in H, then obviously A, B, C belongs to G. But as since G is a group, you have the associative property in G. It is A into BC is equal to AB into C. So associative property holds in H also. By condition 2 we have if A belongs to H, A inverse belongs to H. Now we are having two elements in H. A belongs to H and A inverse belongs to H. But by condition 1, the product of these two elements belongs to H. You take any two elements in H and then their product belongs to H. That is the condition 1. So here you are having A and A inverse. The product is A into A inverse, that belongs to H. But in G, what is A into A inverse? A into A inverse is nothing but E. So E belongs to H, that is identity exists in H. So as the four conditions of the group are satisfied, that is first one we have already assumed that H is closed, and the given second condition is the inverse property, and here we have proved associativity and existence of identity. Hence H is a group, so H is a subgroup of G. This theorem is about a finite non-empty subset of G. In the previous theorem we have seen two conditions, closure and inverse, existence of inverse. But if H is a finite non-empty subset, then it is enough for us to verify whether the closure law holds. Theorem 2. If H is a non-empty subset of a group G, then H is a subgroup of G if and only if H is closed under the binary operation of G. That is, for all A, B belonging to H, AB belongs to H. Proof. Given G is a group, I have written G, dot. You can consider any operation, any symbol for this binary operation. Given H is a finite non-empty subset of G. So if you assume that H is a subgroup of G, then as H itself is a group, H is closed under binary operation dot. So if part is over. So conversely assume that H is closed under the binary operation dot. Then we have to prove that H is a subgroup of G. So as in the previous theorem, as H is contained in G, associativity follows in H. So it remains to prove the existence of identity and the inverse in H. To prove this, we shall consider one element, any arbitrary element A belong to H, and let us define one set given by A into H. AH is equal to set of all AH such that H belongs to H. So you take this particular element A and operate it with each element of H to get this set. So our claim is that this AH is nothing but the whole set H itself. For this, first we shall prove that AH and H has equal number of elements. For that, first we shall define one function f from H to AH by f of H is equal to AH for all H belonging to H. So we may note that f is a one-to-one function for which we have to verify the condition. If f of h1 is equal to f of h2 for any two elements h1 and h2 in capital H, then we should obtain h1 should equal to h2. That is, a function is one-to-one only if the pre-image are equal for equal images. Okay. So here we are considering f of h1 is equal to f of h2. By the definition of f of h, we can write f of h1 as ah1 and f of h2 as ah2. So ah1, h2, all this belongs to capital H, and capital H is contained in G. In G, left cancellation law holds. So here you are having same element operated on the left side. So A can be cancelled. So we will have H1 is equal to H2. So we have taken f of H1 equal to f of H2, which implies H1 is equal to H2. So that f is a one-to-one function. Also, f is onto function. Onto function means each image should have a pre-image. That is, no element should be left in the codomain. You consider an element in the codomain. Here the codomain is AH. So any element of AH will be of the form small ah. So for this AH, you will definitely have one element H belonging to the domain H such that f of H is equal to AH. So f is a onto function. So a one-to-one onto function means it maps the whole set into another set. Therefore, you will have corresponding elements mapped. Hence, the number of elements in each set will be equal. That is, the domain and the codomain will have equal number of elements. Therefore, modulus of H is equal to modulus of AH. So as H is closed under dot, you can see that for any element H belonging to H, AH belongs to H. As A belongs to H and H also belongs to H, AH belongs to H. You have taken an element AH in a capital H and you have obtained that AH to be belonging to this H itself. Hence, AH is contained in H. We have proved that these two will have equal number of elements. Also, one set is contained in the other set, which means they two are equal. Hence, H is equal to AH. Now, our aim is actually to prove the existence of identity and inverse. So, H is equal to AH. Now, as A belongs to H, we have taken this A only from the set H. So, A belongs to H implies A belongs to this AH also. In AH, any element will be of the form A into some other element of H. Let that element be B. That is, A can be written as A into some other element. That some other element is B. So, A is equal to AB. But in G, we know that E is the identity element. So, A is equal to A. A into E is equal to A. When you are equating these two, you will have AB is equal to AE. So again, by left cancellation law, we will have B is equal to E. Actually, where this B belongs to, we have taken B from H, but we have identified that B is nothing but the identity element E. So E belongs to H. That is, the identity exists in H. Also, as E belongs to H, E belongs to AH, as H is equal to AH. So there exists some other element in H such that A into that element is equal to E. So let me take that element as C. So there exists C belongs to H such that A into C is equal to E. But comparing this with the inverse, we may say that C is obviously equal to the inverse, but we have to verify whether AC is equal to CA is also equal to E. So to verify that, we shall consider CA whole square. So CA whole square is nothing but CA into CA. By associative property, we can write this as C into AC into A. So we can group these two elements and then write like this. AC is equal to E. So now you replace this AC by E. So you'll have C into EA. When identity element is operated on any element, then there won't be any change. So C into E is equal to C only. So this will be CA. So CA whole square is equal to CA, which means CA into CA is equal to CA into E. E is the identity, you can write like this. Again, by left cancellation law, you can cancel CA. So resulting equality will be CA equal to E. So already we have seen, we have taken AC is equal to E. Now we have found CA is also equal to E. Hence CA equal to AC equal to E, which implies C is the inverse of A. That C belongs to H. So C is the inverse of A and C belongs to H. Hence inverse existing for each and every element. You have taken this A arbitrary only. So for any element A, the inverse belongs to that subset H, and identity belongs to H. So these two we have proved. Hence H is a subgroup of G. Consider this set Q star comma dot, which is a group. Even though Z star and N are closed under the binary operation dot, that is when you multiply any two integers, the result will be integer. When you multiply any two natural number, the result is also a natural number. So Z star and N are closed under the binary operation multiplication, but they are not finite subset of Q star. So if they are finite and closed, then we can obviously say from the previous theorem that they are subgroups, but here they are not finite sets, so they are not subgroups of Q star comma dot.